11-pound turkey, 2-pot stew. This is how I made use of my free holiday turkey in 2024. Hopefully this gives you some ideas. Spending $400 in ShopRite got me a bonus. After thawing out in the refrigerator for 5 days, just to let you know, there were still some ice crystals, so you might run into the same issue, but it was workable. Being that this is wet and raw poultry, that did for me, and probably will for you, spurt off an unexpected launch of juice into your face and other places. It's a very good idea to completely clean off your work area or countertop so that you don't have any cross-contamination. Now have your large pots ready to go on the counter. Then glove up. After removing any plastic pieces from the turkey, take the neck and the giblets, put them in the pot or discard them. That's your choice. Some people don't like the flavor of them. Place the turkey on a cutting board and then start breaking it down with a sharp knife. Remove the whole leg and thigh as one, then do the other side, removing the wings by cutting and separating them at the joints closest to the carcass. After that, take your knife, slice underneath the breast, through the ribs, on both sides, and kind of pull the breast off the remaining carcass and spine. Take your knife, cut the breast down the middle, cut it into 2 pieces, then take those 2 remaining pieces with your knife, split them again down the middle. At that point, you've got pretty much a spine remaining of the carcass. That's about it, but it's kind of long, so take the knife in the middle of it, chop it in half, or maybe not chop unless you have a cleaver. You don't want to chip your knife. After that, take all your turkey and start splitting it up evenly between the 2 pots, or if you have pots that are different sizes, like I did, try to get that proportionately right. Remove your gloves and discard them. With clean hands, now you can take your pots that hopefully you did not cross-contaminate the outside edges of or the handles, and move your pots to the stove. Do not turn the stove on. You're not cooking anything yet. You just want the turkey and the pots out of the way, because now it's time for some cleanup, which is very important because you've got most likely turkey juice everywhere. So take your knife, put that in the sink to wash off. Put your cutting board in the sink to wash off. For your counter, wipe it down, spray it down, whatever you need to make sure it's clean enough to eat off of. After that's done, take your cutting board, put it back on the counter with your knife, and now you want a large mixing bowl for your vegetables. In my mixing bowl went chopped onion, chopped garlic, chunks of carrot, celery, bell pepper, bok choy, minced fresh ginger, a large can of fire roasted tomatoes, ketchup, mustard, whole grain mustard seed, soy sauce, sesame oil, salt, black pepper, crushed red pepper, Old Bay, paprika, turmeric, and curry powder. Mix together and thoroughly divide this mixture of vegetables and spices and everything else in it between the 2 pots. You can leave the turkey sit on the bottom, that's fine. Everything will mix together flavor-wise later on through the boil. Bear in mind you're going to be adding water to this mixture to cover the vegetables and of course the meat that's down at the bottom. When you add water, you want the vegetables covered, but ideally you want to leave at least, 2 inches is good. That way when you bring it up on medium heat, you're not going to get a boil over, and that's plenty of room to work with. Now, if you've never cooked a stew of this size in a large pot, please pay attention. This is very important. If you do not start off on a low to medium heat, you are absolutely going to get boilovers and make a mess on your stove. I can't exactly explain the physics behind it, but I guarantee you the outside edges of the liquid is going to heat first. It's going to start to foam and froth, while the center of the pot is going to be cold, and you're going to start to have mess after mess all over the stove, and you just don't want that. So you have to start off on a low to medium heat. You're going to start seeing the waters start to boil around the edges, and then you're going to take your large spoon, go into that pot, and move things around gently and slowly. You don't have to do it vigorously at all. Just move it around a little bit, and depending on the size of the pots that you're using, it could take quite a bit of time to come up to temperature. But then once everything is boiling, and you'll know when, because it's going to be boiling in the center of the pot, the center of the liquid, and all throughout. And when you go in and stir it again, it's not going to stop boiling now. So at that point, you can set your timer for an hour and 15 minutes, I believe, is adequately safe. After an hour and 15 minutes is up, you're good to go. You can have a bowl of turkey stew. Now, what I recommend doing is leaving the pots sit out for a little while with the heat off, because these are going to be 2 large pots and you don't want to heat up everything in your refrigerator. Let them cool off for a couple hours, put them in the refrigerator, and when they cool off overnight, next morning or next day, whenever, that's when you want to take them back out of the refrigerator, get your mixing bowl out again, put on some gloves, and then you want to take another pan or another pot or whatever, and start putting all of your turkey meat into it. Now with your gloves on, you start removing all the turkey meat from the bones. Take 1 piece of turkey meat over your mixing bowl or pot, remove the bones, make sure you sort through it, get everything out, take the bone, discard it. Repeat that process until you've deboned all the turkey. Then you take the turkey and you mix it back into the pots. That way when you heat up your soup, hopefully you've got all the bones, but in my case I always miss a few small ones, so please use that as a word of caution. It will probably happen to you too. So when serving to children or the elderly, keep that in mind. And I hope you enjoy it.